Let's see. Well, that was supposed to go better than that. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing all right. Go ahead and drop a like. Share the stream with somebody. The more, the merrier. We're gonna have a shorter one today. I've been filling out paperwork for work this weekend, so it is what it is. But I hope I'm prepared enough. I think I should be. Reading a whole bunch of W-9 forms, contracts, all kinds of fun stuff. Let's just hop right into it, because I'm going to have to leave after this and drive a couple hours for work this weekend. But I told you I'd have one last episode, or at least one today. Told you I'd be live today, so I will make sure that happens. Let me see. Okay, we've got these up. Yeah, I told you I'd be live today. I don't know when the next time I'll be live is. It could be Monday. It could be Tuesday. So make sure you guys are turning on notifications. Because I don't even know the next time I'm going to be live, just given the nature of work this weekend. But we'll hop right into it. Today is Friday, February 27th, 2026. This is episode number 64 of Addressing the Issues. I guess big news today. UBS, a Swiss multinational investment bank, downgraded the U.S. stock market today. Big news. UBS cited an asymmetric structural downside risk to the dollar. It mentioned the weakening dollar, stretched valuations of companies, and national policy turbulence in the United States. It also cited inflation. I mean, I think anybody with a brain could tell you that the dollar is inflated. If you want evidence, you should look at the stock market before the 1980s, and then everything after the 1980s, during and after. That's not normal market growth. That's growth due to inflation. I'm no economist, but there's dollars being created out of thin air. I mean, it's currency with no backing besides oil. And we just kept printing the currency and expected, I guess nobody to notice. Well, people are noticing the dollar's overvaluated. And we're facing the repercussions. You have to have some value behind your stock. But the growth is all seemingly mostly due to inflation. I guess in other related news, the Dow dropped over 1% today. Dropped over 1%. It's now below 49,000. 50 points, or 500 points, were wiped out just today. But since, the stock market is under 49,000 now, which is below 50,000, does it mean it's finally okay to arrest the co-conspirators mentioned in the Epstein files? Please and thank you. I guess that deflection has really not worked out. Mel Ribbenclaw, I don't know what that means, bud. But I do know that the market is tanking right now. Maybe this is repercussions for outing some of the people in the Epstein files, these powerful business leaders that were claimed to be holding this whole thing together, I guess aren't holding it together too well. Iran Israel makes cartoons and is a voice actor. I'm not familiar, I'm sorry. We'll move on to another major story. Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos declared the Warner Brothers Discovery deal no longer financially attractive after a meeting at the White House today. Whether you find that to be a coincidence or not, I don't. I really don't. But this paves the way for David Ellison and his Paramount Skydance to complete the acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery, including the coveted CNN acquisition heading into election season. This has left the staff at CNN panicked regarding the future of the network, and I assume also the future of their jobs. Maybe the spouting of propaganda and just straight up Trump hatred isn't going to be the business model of the network going forward. So they're a little bit panicked whether they're going to have jobs in the future. And I mean, I'd say rightfully so. It wasn't the honest journalism that they claimed it was. And now with a new boss coming in, it's highly likely that the direction of the company will change. I don't know if it will be for the better, but it will be changing, over this election season, heading in the primaries. I've long thought that this was the goal. The goal was to get CNN to control the narrative going in the primaries, going into general elections in November. And seems like it's going to be coming to fruition, and CNN isn't too happy about it, at least the staffers currently. Probably because their, model of vitriol wasn't going to fly under David Ellison. Villanos was in Warner Brothers. I'm still not familiar, but it will be sold to David Ellison's Paramount Skydance, if that makes you feel any better. It may not. Those are two of the main stories today. Let's see. We'll move on to the moving of NASA's Artemis 3 landing. Artemis 3 was initially scheduled to be a moon landing. It's been changed to, let me see, I believe it was, I believe they're going to attempt to dock to the International Space Station, or maybe it's just low Earth orbit. Not lunar orbit, which was initially planned. But they're going to be using this to test moon suits. So I guess safety. The reasoning is that they want to take things one step at a time, like they did before in the first moon landing. They also argue that skills would atrophy between missions this year and 2028, and they wanted to add something in mid-2027 to ensure skills atrophy wasn't an issue. But this has moved back Artemis 4 and 5, which will both be lunar landing attempts, to late 2028, assuming everything is going to plan. So it sounds like we'll be going to the moon maybe a little bit later than previously expected. But it'll be cool to get some more moon footage. Maybe we can get it in 4K. I just think that's interesting. It's a feat of modern engineering that hasn't been done in 50 years, but whether it's been done before is not a question for me to ask. But it's pretty cool that we're going back to the moon. Hopefully can beat out other powers. I wonder if, China is looking to do the same thing at the same time with probably stolen U.S. technology. Was the first moon landing real? Depends on who you ask. There's a lot of different opinions on this, especially given what we know that the first computer had about as much storage as a CD on it with a 60s era IBM computer, and we can't repeat it until 2028, which makes you have a few questions. There's people who claim that it was filmed in a pool in Florida at the NASA complex. There's people that claim, that they were held up by strings in the moon landing. And there's also, I believe who's the movie director that's commonly linked with the NASA landing, the production of it? That raises some alarms given his love with special effects. So maybe it was real, maybe it wasn't. I'd like to believe it was. I do believe that America is the best country on earth, but I'll leave it at that. Go America. I guess this next story might be a counter to the fact that we are the best country on earth. It turns out that the balloon, as it was called, that shut down the airport in El Paso, Texas for 10 days, triggering a 10-day no flight advisory, notice the airmen advisory. It shut down the airport for 10 days. Wasn't a balloon. It was instead a drone operated by Customs and Border Protection, meaning the U.S. military used a laser weapon on a Customs and Border Protection drone. This may be the most efficient use of taxpayer dollars of all time. I mean, this probably tops the entire list of efficient use of taxpayer dollars. There's been claims that they should have coordinated better with one another. I feel like it's kind of easy to make the call. Ask, is this your drone? If they say yes, don't shoot it down. If they say no, maybe shoot it down. Don't just shoot it down and then claim it's a balloon that triggered a 10-day airspace ban. Wasting, whatever money they spent on the drone, whatever money they spent on the energy to shoot it down, it's absolutely just, this is why Doge got eliminated. This is waste, fraud, and abuse right here. This is, it's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. So we'll move on from that, from efficient uses of taxpayer dollars, to something possibly even more efficient. Updates on Iran. When Trump was asked about use of force on Iran today while departing the White House, he responded, "It'd be nice if we could do it without, but sometimes you have to do it." Not a good omen, especially while talks are going on. But, I guess that is the strongman nature of gunboat diplomacy. You've got to act like a hardhead, and maybe you'll get your point across. But in other news, it's been reported today that Iran has been seen conducting both regular and unexplained activity at the sites bombed during Operation Midnight Hammer, according to International Atomic Energy Agency Director Rafael Mariano Grossi. the IAEA is unable to verify the state and location of Iran's enriched near bomb grade uranium for more than 8 months following the 12-day war. Rather alarming. Also means, there is the odd chance that the bomb or the ground penetrating bombs did not work as intended. And they believe that there's still some salvaging that can be done in Iran. Probably not in the terms and conditions of these negotiations, but I guess that's just Iran for you. But in a seemingly unrelated story, I think they're probably more related than you're led to believe, but an RC-135W Rivet Joint spy plane has been spotted circling over several states related to America's land-based nuclear missile infrastructure. This plane is designed for near real-time SIGINT, signals intelligence, collection, analysis, and dissemination. I believe, this plane is probably calibrating for detection of enriched uranium sources, which would be seen on the Minuteman missiles, which are loaded with nuclear warheads. But it seems, like this is probably calibration before it gets sent over to the Middle East region, where it will probably be flown over Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordo, and see, if they can detect radioactive isotopes underground, which is a true possibility. I think that this plane's likely being calibrated. If it can hit on American ones, it can hit on Iranian ones. We'll have a better idea of what's going on with this nuclear debacle, I guess you could call it. Yeah, it's used for detecting, identifying, and geolocating signals, allowing for real-time tactical surveillance. Kind of interesting, but it would have to be calibrated just like any other detection thing. And, the easiest way would be to go over places where you know what you're looking for and see if it's working. But we'll move on to more fun in the Middle East. Pakistan has claimed that it will wage open war against the Taliban-led Afghanistan. This could be the best thing to happen with this Iran situation, or the worst thing to happen, depending on how you look at it, how it all plays out. If we weren't in the region already, I would think this would be the best thing to ever happen for the U.S. at this point in time. However, given the U.S. is about a 30-minute flight from involvement, it could be the worst thing. I did a lot of research last night to try and understand the geopolitical relations at play in the region. It's changed a lot since I studied Asian geopolitics in undergrad, especially given, the Taliban took over Afghanistan. There's a lot of interesting things at play here. The U.S. is allied, in a way, through Quad with India, which is enemies with both China and Iran. Actually, no, take that back. Iran has economic alliances with India. India hates Pakistan. The U.S. is providing military support for both countries. Well, at least has relations. Obviously, the US and Taliban have been at odds for a long time since their inception, whether that be actually no. Their inception was during the USSR's war with Afghanistan. And the US was supporting them, and then, things happened, and then we end up with a disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. But since then, relations between India and Afghanistan have warmed, meaning I'm not even sure which side we would even be cheering for. There's many axes at play here, many swinging parts. Many of these countries, actually all of them but India, are either economic or militarily allied with China, meaning we would probably be against China. That's just the way it is these days. But we probably also wouldn't want to align ourselves with Taliban Afghanistan or Pakistan for that matter. I mean, this is just the weirdest group of military and economic alliances probably in the world. They all like each other. They all despise each other. And now a open war has kicked off. Pakistan has declared an open war on the Taliban in Afghanistan. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this whole thing plays out, especially with U.S. tensions with Iran. Iran having relations with every country in the region, I do believe. But as of right now, Pakistan's military has claimed to take the lives of 274 Taliban fighters and has hit 22 locations in Afghanistan. Maybe, Pakistan is a little bit more, they're a little bit better trained for war in the region than the U.S. was. Maybe they can make it happen pretty quick. I doubt it. But there's always that odd chance. It's really interesting what's going on there, especially given how all of them are, or both of them are tied with larger powers such as Iran or China. It's kind of interesting also, India is warming relations with Taliban-led Afghanistan. But if we weren't in the region, this is why I'd say this is the best thing that ever happened for the U.S. at the time. It would, push powers like China and Iran to take sides, India to take sides, countries that have been scamming us on trade. I mean, absolutely running us over in trade. And it'd be a great opportunity, to use some of that U.S. statecraft, pin people against one another, fund these terror organizations, which we're so good at doing. There's plenty of them in the region. Plenty of things that we could have exploited, assuming that we didn't have a majority, maybe not a majority, a large portion of our U.S. military staged in the region. It'd be a lot better, if we're further away with all of our expensive equipment, all the lives, American lives, and just sent in spies, state actors, funded militant groups. But I think we're a little bit too intertangled with everything going on right there right now to have plausible deniability. The plausible deniability you'd want if you were to engage in these actions, training militias, funding militias, whether they be, people you would approve at from a distance or not. I mean, they could be a good friend for a short time in achieving certain goals. But, you know, the worst way I believe that this could end is if this does spill out in the other regions. I don't know how much of a chance that these countries are going to have a shot at staying sovereign, at least the whole portion of land mass. We could definitely see snatch and land grab operations out of Iran, out of India, out of China, all three at the same time, which basically encircle Pakistan and Afghanistan. They have plenty of active border disputes. So this could, you know, if it does spill over in the neighboring countries, could get really ugly. And it's probably not something you want billions, maybe trillions of dollars of military hardware right next to. You might want to step back and say, y'all deal with this yourself. But I don't know that we currently have that option, especially given that I'd say that there's about a 95% chance likelihood that we do go to war with Iran. I don't know that the negotiations are in good faith on either side. That's all we have for today. Like I said, I've been busy filling out all kinds of paperwork today, trying to get everything set up for work this weekend. I don't know whether I'll be back for a show Monday. Hopefully I will be, but I guess that's your note to make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, follow on Kick, follow on Rumble, turn on notifications, hit the like while you're down there. I'd appreciate that as well. I always appreciate everybody's viewership, everybody stopping by, hanging out on their way home from work. But I truly don't know whether or not I'll be back come 4:45 on Monday. Our next show may be Tuesday. But it also, I mean, just as easily could be Monday. It just depends on weather, travel times, stuff like this. But hopefully I'll be back Monday. I'll be able to hang out, chat some more. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure I've read all the chats. I don't know who this person is, the Alon Ituriel Villanos. I don't know what that is. Maybe I'll look that up at a later date. It's being pushed like it was very pertinent. So maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe we can see what this is. Alan Ituriel. It is a Mexican actor and animator. Villanos. I'm not familiar with this. Interesting. I've never seen that show, but if it's good, I hope you enjoy it. I think I've gone through everything. We've got the kickbots in full force today. I will not be going to your strange webpage. I need to figure out how to ban that. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else. I guess nothing else that's pertinent right now. I think I've got you the most pertinent stories of the day, at least I hope. And yeah, I'll see you again maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. Make sure everybody's dropping a like. Yeah. We'll sign off here. So to all my people on the East Coast, I hope you get home safe. To my people further west, I hope you finish up your workday strong, get home safe as well. Thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you again, I guess, when I talk to you again.